Hello everyone. In this video, I'm presenting some points on the essay aspects of the novel by E.M. Forster. Before we go into the essay, let me give you a brief introduction on our writer E.M. Forster. His full name is Edward Morgan Forster, born in 1879, died in 1970. He was an English novelist, a short story writer, and essayist. He was an only child, because of which he spent much of his time alone, and this experience inspired him to come up with novel ideas in the field of literature. As a novelist, he had 5 works of his published during his lifetime. His first novel was Where Angels Fear to Tread. Since he is a novelist, the essay aspects of the novel is a genuine attempt to define the standards of a novel, and it remains as a text that provides insight to upcoming writers. Aspects of the novel is a literary work which is based on a series of lectures delivered by E.M. Forster at Trinity College, Cambridge. It's a well-structured book which redefines the formula of a successful novel. In this essay, he discusses which, according to him, are 7 vital elements of a novel: story, people, plot, fantasy, prophecy, pattern, and rhythm. So to make his points clear, he uses excerpts from different classics, and his work emanates a new sensibility in his readers. So this is divided into chapters, and in the 7 aspects of the novel that Forster speaks of, the first chapter is titled The Story. So Forster says that a novel, in its most essential structure, recounts to a story by masterminding narrative occasions in a period arrangement. And the story ought to be established on the inquiry, what happens next? A great story in any case must include esteem. So he goes on to cite an example, The Antiquary by Sir Walter Scott. Scott's work is undoubtedly established on the what happens next question. However, it seems to be in need of esteem. Conversely, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy is a genuine case of a sequence of events that develops after some time while including esteem. Forster's lessons on portrayal are the most oft-examined ones. In the chapter titled People, he clarifies the contrast among flat and round characters. He cites Charles Dickens to speak about flat characters. So flat characters are those which have only 1 or 2 characterizing attributes. They do not develop any new features throughout the novel, and they remain the same, whereas round characters are completely developed. So a little bit into the novel, the round characters seem to display a new side to their nature. And both flat and round characters are important in a story. So as per Forster, all the characters created by Dickens are flat, yet his characters seem to be well developed. For round characters, Foster cites Jane Austen, and he points out that her characters can be categorized as round characters. According to him, a good novel consists of both flat as well as round characters. So Foster, he clarifies that the characters in stories are not real individuals, but he feels that they should appear as real individuals. In some cases, a reader will find that they appear to be more genuine than real individuals in the reader's life. So, this can be achieved by an author by uncovering the character's hidden up and inward life. He typically proceeds to talk that while sleeping or eating do not occupy much space in stories, he feels that love is overrepresented in novels. In the chapter on plot, Foster clarifies that a story is a narration of events. However, a plot is a story of occasions that spotlights on causality. So, plot tells us the cause as to the story. While a story may state the king died and then the queen died, a plot would state the king died and then the queen died of grief. So, plot tells us about the cause of the story. Both have a time sequence, yet in the plot, time is eclipsed by causality. Plots request knowledge from their readers, including the capacity to recollect occasions and interface strings, and this enables the creator to make a puzzle by postponing certain clarifications until some other time in the plot. Characters must impact the plot dependent on their characters, or else they are essentially cleared away by fate. So he cites the example of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, where he speaks about how Heathcliff rises from rags to riches. It's a story of love and revenge. And um, by speaking about love and revenge, the plot is developed and the story is narrated. In its section on fantasy, Foster clarifies that fantasy is acquainted into a novel to make a magical impact. Be that as it may, dream is not constantly mysterious. Rather, it can be likewise found in the enchantment of ordinary things and people. He likewise talks about parody and adaptation, which enable a story to be layered upon by many authors' minds. Prophecy, according to Foster, is an antiquated author's voice with an all-inclusive topic, that is, the characters are something beyond characters. She utilizes Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky, whose characters consistently represent something more than themselves, for instance. In contrast to symbolism, which has solid implications, the implications of prescience are increasingly imprecise, yet unfailingly widespread. Foster discusses pattern and rhythm in the last section. So what is pattern? Pattern is what we see in paintings, in sculptures and other art forms. So how can it be applied in a novel? So Foster, he sees geometric shapes in the plots. So pattern is the state of a novel. In some cases it is a geometric shape, for example an hourglass, where one character's rise in the society meets with another's social fall. Or it could represent a circle where a character winds up back where they began. So pattern enables a peruser to consider the book as an entirety in general. Foster, however, cautions that pattern must develop naturally. So when characters are constrained into a pattern, the story will lose its reality and extravagance. So what is rhythm? When a motif repeats itself in the novel, it is said to be the rhythm of the novel, according to Foster. It also increases the aesthetic sense of the novel and brings a structure into the novel as well. So he likens rhythm to an actor and he sees it as the thread that stitches the book from the inside. So when there is a waxing and waning of rhythm, it fills the reader with hope, freshness, and surprise. Foster feels it cannot come to writers who plan the book beforehand. It has to be impulsive at the right point of the plot. So this is what Foster says about the 7 aspects of the novel. So when we look into world literature, we see that there are very few books which deal with the art or the method of writing novels. So in that sense, E.M. Forster's Aspects of the Novel is a forerunner. It's very light and sounds like a friendly chat. It's because it's a compilation of series of lectures, and lectures do not take the form of a book. However, there are many points that are to be taken into consideration. So even though there are many critics who say that this book is outdated and that his views do not have a universal appreciation, it is true that he gave this series of lectures at a time when many novelists had not emerged. But now there are many styles of writing and there is a lot of experimentation. However, one must realize that one cannot take the basics of storytelling away from this book. So any aspiring novelist would definitely gain much if he understands the tips given in the book by E.M. Forster. So here I have given you the references that I have looked up on the internet. So I'm thankful for all these references that I was able to go through, which definitely helped me to prepare this presentation.